Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for another episode of Redneck Revolution Spills the Beans. What are we talking about? Are we talking about gossip? Are we talking about tea? Or are we talking negative thoughts? No, we are not. We are talking about competition and how I can help you become a better competitor, especially after having 30 plus years of competing. Okay, I do this for free. Well, why are you doing it for free? Well, I'm glad you asked that because not everybody can afford a coach. So hopefully this series helps you out, and please by no means think that I'm an expert and take absolutely everything I say for gospel, because I am not an expert. I am somebody with a lot of experience, and quite honestly, there is no such thing as an expert, because the minute you start believing you're an expert, you get a little bit arrogant and you quit learning and you get lazy. So if you think you're an expert out there, I'm not going to apologize if I hurt your ego. Anyway, if you caught the first episode, I talked about the two scoring formats that you may see in competition. Relative placement, I don't like that. We'll throw that off to the side. And points, I absolutely love that. So we're going to stick on that topic. But before I get into it, let's have a word from our sponsor. Oh, that's right. I don't have any sponsors yet. Hopefully, someday soon, we will have some sponsors. Get in contact me if you have a product you want me to hawk, but I have to test it first to make sure it lives up to what you're telling me it does. If you're seeing this on Facebook and you see stars somewhere down there, hit some stars, hit the like button, so on and so forth. All right, on to what we're talking about today. Now, at the end of the last episode, I wanted to delve a little bit more into choreography. However, if you're a line dance competitor, a couples competitor, if you're new to teams, or you're just a choreographer that has no inclination of ever competing, but you want to improve, stick around because some of this information you may find very useful, especially if you're a line dance competitor or teams. Because, believe it or not, line dance competitors, once you get done with your vanillas and you start adding your flair, technically you're doing some choreography. Okay, what are we talking about today? Two categories that you will either see separate or sometimes stacked on top of each other, or individually you'll see one without the other. That is flow and phrasing. Okay, if you've been around line dance a long time or done a lot of pattern partner dances, you already know what phrasing is. But if you're brand new to choreography, brand new to line dance, I'm going to try and break it down for you as best as I can. And believe me, I wish years ago somebody had explained this to me, because they always told me my dances flowed really great, but I had crappy phrasing. It took several years before somebody actually sat me down and explained it to me. Then after they did, I figured it all out. Happy, happy, joy, joy. They're going hand in hand down the road, and I created a really good line dance from that. So, phrasing. What is phrasing? Well, there's a division called phrase line dancing. Is that what you're talking about? No, I'm not. But this plays into some of what we're talking about. So, in music, with a song, choreographers count it out for phrase. What are we talking about with phrase? Well, in ballroom, if you're a ballroomer, you may have heard the term loop. This is where you have a constant count that repeats itself. The melody repeats itself. That is a phrase. Musicians sometimes call it bars. It will be 16 counts, 24 counts, 32 counts, but it repeats constant throughout the entire song. We count the songs out because music artists, being what they are, will like to throw in a little extra stuff. Maybe sometimes in the song that melody suddenly resets itself and we're starting back again at the top at count number 1. Other times there's little sections in there that don't fit with the phrase. They're just extra counts that we have, so we create a tag. Okay, so that's the basis of phrasing. When we're talking about the division itself for phrase line dancing, that's where we've taken a song. Somehow the music changes. We have that bass of 32, but the music changes enough that we have a phrase of 16 counts. We call that B, or we have 3 sets that can don't seem to go together when you actually listen to it and when you're counting it out. And that'll be phrase C or phrase D or so on and so forth. And of course, a lot of competitions, when they talk about phrasing or putting dances in phrase division, it's because you have a tag of 16 counts or more, which would be a B phrase. Okay, so what does it mean in correlation to flow? Because, well, I thought those were the same thing. No, they are not. They are two separate critters, but they do go hand in hand. Flow is how your dance works out with the music. Okay, for example, you can have counted out 32 counts and had a constant 32 count through there, but when you designed your dance, you put some awkward steps in there. Just as an example, I've never seen this happen, but let's say you're wanting to do a waltz. Well, somewhere in your 48 count phrase, you decided to throw in some tango steps just because that's what you felt. However, the judges saw that and went, tango doesn't belong in a waltz. And you got dinged for your flow. Okay, and believe me, that kind of stuff has happened to me before. Recent history, tried to do a meld where I took a West Coast rhythm and I threw some other personality stuff in there. And a couple of the judges didn't like it. Even though it actually worked out, they dinged me for flow because they felt it should have had more West Coast swing than the other styles that I threw into it that actually worked out with the music. Okay? And that will happen from time to time when you choreograph. So, with flow, you have to flow all the way through your phrase. And the other part of designing your dance so that it works out, and does it have something to do with flow? I kind of feel it does. That's your musicality. If you don't understand musicality, there are little idiosyncrasies throughout a song that you can pick up on that can kind of tell you how you should design your dance. Sometimes with musicality, it's the lyrics themselves that will tell you what you should be doing. So if you're listening to the song, you've counted it out, and you're listening to it again, and just for giggles, we say the singer starts saying, shake, shake, shake. And that shake, shake, shake happens at the same point in other parts of the song. So what should you do? You should add some kind of shaking, whether it's shaking your hips or doing a chest shimmy or, oh, that was unattractive, I won't do that again, in your dance. Or if you hear stomp, you should be stomping if that is repeated throughout the song. Okay, and I've watched plenty of choreography competitions where the competitors have gone out there and the song says shake and stomp or something to that nature, and they're doing a vine. Or it says spin around, well, they're doing a triple forward, or they're doing a Lindy to one side or the other, or they're doing a mambo step. They have not completely listened to that song. And yes, that falls under presentation. It also falls under your phrasing and your flow. So these are tips and tricks to help you out. I don't know what the next episode's going to be about. I have to look at my scoring sheet, or I may delve into some other things pertaining to competition and go back, maybe cover a little bit about presentation. I'm running out of time. Hopefully you found this informative. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section. I'll be happy to try and answer them. And if you're in an event and you're competing and you don't understand something, why you got marked down, feel free to talk to the judges after the competition. Talk to some of the big name instructors there, because we are here to help you out to become better. That's it for me. We'll catch you all later.